Look closely at this situation. Something serious happened, something you cannot ignore. This person did the unthinkable, and now everything has changed. It is not just any mistake. It's not an innocent slip-up. It's a betrayal that destroys, that marks, that erases any trust that existed. You need to face the truth. You need to know exactly what happened before deciding what to do. After hearing this, there will be no going back. You need to understand the gravity of this. It's not something that can be explained with excuses or erased over time. What this person did went beyond acceptable. They crossed the line. You feel it, don't you? That restlessness, that sensation that something broke and cannot be fixed, because that's exactly what happened. There's no point in pretending it was a mistake or a moment of weakness. It was a choice, a conscious decision that destroyed what existed before. Now, you need to face this truth head-on, without illusions, without lies, without trying to soften what cannot be softened. And the question that remains is, what are you going to do with this information? Because after knowing, you can't go back. You need to face it now. Pretending it didn't happen won't change anything. Closing your eyes won't erase what was done. You know that. You feel that. What this person did was not a simple mistake. It was a choice. Cold, calculated, or impulsive, it doesn't matter. The fact is, they knew what they were doing. They knew what it would mean, and still they did it. Now everything is in front of you. The truth, raw and without room for interpretations. There is no middle ground, no justification that can lighten the weight of what was done. Do you feel the anger growing inside you? Do you feel the indignation? It's natural. What they did to you was not fair. It was not an accident, it was a break. A betrayal against the trust that once existed. And the worst part, this person might even try to explain themselves, might try to undo the situation, but nothing will change the fact that, at the crucial moment, they chose to destroy something they should have protected. You've noticed that, haven't you? This kind of thing doesn't happen by chance. There are always signs, small details that you might have overlooked before. An avoided glance, a different tone of voice, that nagging feeling that something was wrong but you couldn't explain it. Now everything makes sense. Now the question is, what are you going to do with this truth? Anger can consume, can blind, but it can also liberate. You can allow this betrayal to define you, or you can use it as a turning point. But before any decision, there is something you need to know. Something that can completely change how you see this story. You need clarity now. You need to face the facts head on. What this person did was not an innocent mistake, not just any misstep. It was a conscious decision, something they knew would hurt you, something they chose to do anyway. And now, here you are trying to process, trying to understand how someone could act this way, how someone could destroy something so valuable without hesitation. But here is the truth that might hurt more than anything else. This person didn't think of you. At the moment of choice, in the instant when they could have stopped, reconsidered, done differently, they went ahead. Because deep down, their priority wasn't you, it never was. You feel it, don't you? The knot in your stomach, the pressure in your chest. It's reality imposing itself without filter, without concessions. And the worst? They might even regret it now. They might apologize, might say they didn't mean to hurt you, might swear it will never happen again. But you already know the truth. If they really cared, they would never have done this. So what remains now? You can try to understand the motives. You can seek explanations, attempt to find some logic in the chaos. But deep down, none of that matters. The fact is that it happened. Trust was broken. And now, no matter how many words are spoken, how many promises are made, the reality remains unchanged. The question now is no longer about her. It's not about how she feels or what she wants. It's about you. What are you going to do with this? Because continuing to pretend that it can be different will only prolong the pain. It will only keep you trapped in a cycle that should never have begun. This person did not just make a mistake. It wasn't a slip. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It was a cold choice, a decision made knowing exactly the impact it would have on you. And even so, she did it. Now you might be wondering, what exactly happened? The answer is simple and painful at the same time. She betrayed you. And I'm not just talking about betrayal in the most obvious sense. It's not just about infidelity or disloyalty. Betrayal can come in many forms. in breaking a promise, in choosing to lie when the truth mattered, in abandoning you when you needed her the most. And that is exactly what makes everything worse. Because it wasn't just one act. It was a pattern. It was something built over time. Little signs that you ignored, empty words that you believed, excuses that seemed to make sense at the time but now sound like what they really were, attempts to manipulate you. Do you feel the anger rising inside you? That's good. It means that deep down, you already knew, you always knew. You just didn't want to accept it. This person betrayed you in a way that goes beyond what you imagined. And the worst part, she knew exactly what she was doing. There wasn't a moment of doubt, there wasn't a moment of hesitation. She just went ahead, as if nothing else mattered. Now, you need to face reality. No matter how much it hurts, no matter how much you want to turn back time and pretend none of this happened. Because it happened. And you're here now, dealing with the wreckage of what once seemed safe. And you know what's worse? She looked you in the eyes and lied. Without trembling her voice, without averting her gaze, she spoke with conviction, made you believe that everything was fine, that there was nothing wrong. And you believed, because you wanted to believe, because you trusted, but now everything makes sense. The delayed responses, the avoided glances, the rehearsed excuses. You felt something was wrong, didn't you? But you always found a reason to ignore it. Always gave the benefit of the doubt, because it was easier that way, because the alternative was too painful. But now there's no more running away. Now you know. And what are you going to do with this? Because this person may try to backtrack, may try to convince you that it was a mistake, a moment of weakness, may swear that it will never happen again. But do you believe it? Do you really want to give another chance to someone who chose to deceive you? Take a deep breath. The decision is yours, but before anything else, you need to know all the details, because there's more. You need to be prepared for what's coming next, because the truth doesn't end here. What this person did goes beyond what you imagine. She didn't just break your trust. She destroyed the foundation on which you built something. And now, everything is in ruins. Do you feel the weight of this? That suffocating feeling that no matter how much you try, nothing can be the same as before. It's because it really can't. And the worst of all, she knew this from the beginning. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It wasn't an accident. It was a plan, a sequence of small decisions that led to the inevitable. She deceived you, and not just once. Every lie, every half-truth, every convenient explanation was part of a larger game, and you, trusting, believed that everything made sense. But now looking back, you see, the patterns were there, small details that went unnoticed, things you tried to justify. But now, there is no more justification. Now, there is only the fact that you were betrayed. And the most infuriating part? She didn't regret it at the moment it happened. Maybe she regretted it afterward when she realized you would find out. When she saw that the consequences were real. But at that moment she chose. She chose the lie. She chose selfishness. She chose to betray the person who trusted her. And now you are here, facing the harsh reality that someone who claimed to love you was capable of doing this. What hurts the most? The act itself, or the realization that all this time she never was who she said she was? Think about it. Reflect on every detail. Because what comes next depends only on you. You have the power to decide. You can choose to keep believing the excuses. You can accept her version of the story, you can forgive and move on. But can you really? Can you look at this person without feeling the bitter taste of the lie? Can you trust again, knowing that at the crucial moment she made the wrong choice? Because if there is one absolute truth in all of this, it is this. If someone was capable of betraying you once, they can do it again. Do you want to take that risk? Or is it finally time to accept that some things simply cannot be repaired? Take a deep breath. This is your decision. But before you choose, know that there is still more. There are still hidden truths that you have not yet seen. Details that were deliberately kept from you. You feel it, don't you? That nagging feeling that even in the face of the truth, there is still something deeper, something even worse lurking. Because this betrayal wasn't an isolated event. It wasn't a single mistake. It was a pattern, a sequence of decisions that led to this. And now you need to ask yourself, how much did this person manipulate your trust? How far did they go without you noticing? Now that you know the truth, think about all the times you felt something was off but ignored it. All the empty promises that seemed genuine at the time, but now sound like rehearsed excuses. All those moments when this person looked you in the eyes and lied without hesitation. This wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. And no matter how much they try to soften it, no matter how much they say they didn't want to hurt you, in that crucial moment they did. They prioritized themselves. They destroyed your trust and didn't hesitate in doing so. Can you see it now? Can you see beyond their words? Because words are easy. Excuses are easy. What matters are actions, and their actions speak for themselves. They could have stopped. They could have been honest. They could have thought about you, but they didn't. Now you have two options before you. You can try to justify it. You can try to understand it. You can cling to a thread of hope that maybe, just maybe, it will never happen again. But deep down, you feel it. Because someone who does it once will do it again. Or you can face reality. You can accept that some things cannot be fixed, that some betrayals are definitive, that some choices destroy any possibility of return. And I know how much it hurts. I know what it's like to look at someone and realize that everything you believed in was an illusion. I know the weight of understanding that the trust you gave was wasted. But now the only thing that matters is what you are going to do with this truth. Are you going to pretend nothing happened? Are you going to accept less than you deserve? Or are you finally going to put a stop to it and choose yourself? The choice is yours. It always has been. But remember, if you accept this now, you will be telling that person they can do it again, that they can continue to lie, that they can keep betraying without consequence. Is this what you want for your life, or are you ready for something better? Take a deep breath. This is the time to decide, because the truth is already in front of you, and there's no turning back. Now there's only one truth you need to decide. You can continue pretending that this betrayal was an isolated mistake, that it was a moment of weakness, and that with time everything can go back to normal. But you know that's not the case. Deep down you feel that something has changed forever, because trust, once broken, never returns to the same state. There will always be that doubt, that voice in the back of your mind asking, what if it happens again? What if in the next moment of weakness this person makes the same choice? Can you live with that uncertainty? Do you deserve to carry that weight? The truth is harsh but necessary. There is no excuse that can fix a premeditated betrayal. There are no words that can erase the conscious choice to deceive you. And the worst part? This person may even be regretful now. But at the moment when they did it, at the exact instant they crossed the line, they knew exactly what they were doing. Maybe they cry, beg, say it was a mistake. But so what? If they really cared about you, they would never have done it. Now you need to decide. Do you accept this betrayal and submit to a cycle of pain and doubts? Or do you put an end to it, choose yourself and move on without carrying a weight that shouldn't be yours? Because here is the most important truth. You deserve more. You deserve a love that doesn't make you question if you are being deceived. You deserve trust without cracks, without suspicions, without fear. And I know choosing to leave can hurt. But choosing to stay where there is no respect will destroy you little by little. Have you ever wondered why some people betray and then come back regretful? Many times, it's not about what they lost, but rather the control they want to maintain over you. Think about it. This person wants your forgiveness, but do they deserve it? Now, I want to know from you. Do you think it's possible to forgive a betrayal, or are some things simply unforgivable? Comment your opinion below. Let's talk about it. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. And if this content made sense to you, if it made you reflect, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Together we can open our eyes to truths that many prefer to ignore.